Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror PSA presented by Scary Nerd, and as always, we are your hosts. I'm Paul.
I'm Saul.
And I'm Angie.
The following is a public service announcement.
A nerdish boy buys a strange car with an evil mind of its own, and his nature starts to change to reflect it. We're continuing John Carpenter birthday month with 1983 Christine.
Yes.
1983's
1983.
No, 1983 Christine.
John
because
Carpenter's
Christine
Christine.
owns 1983, not the other way around.
Okay.
Christine was a 50s car, so shouldn't she own the 50s?
She owns whatever the fuck she wants. She's
That
a
she
badass
does.
bitch. She's a Plymouth.
She
Fury.
was on her first day of a car. She eats a man's hand. She
does.
kills another dude for getting some ashes all over her seats.
Yep.
Like
Okay,
she ain't here to play.
I'm just gonna say this right now. All right, John Carpenter, Stephen King. It doesn't get any fucking better than that. Man.
No.
Even though this is, I don't want to say monumentally, but there's a lot of differences between the movie and the book. Because, in fact, they were starting to make this movie even before the book was actually published. They saw an early version of it and
they
started
loved
making
it.
their changes, and we're like, all right, we're going to do it. So, yeah, a lot of differences, but it's classic King. It's classic Carpenter. Like, how do you go wrong with that?
The only gripe I had about the movie.
You had a grape?
Oh, not a grape. A gripe. The only gripe I had about the movie
Watched
was
a movie about grapes?
I didn't know until I looked up the trivia, and they don't say in the movie why the car was evil. Like, they never explained it. They never explained if it was possessed, they never explained anything.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell in the movie because there's a lot of things like, even when we were watching it, I was like, that's the one thing I questioned too, is like, what is the extent of Christine's quote unquote powers?
Yes.
Because I'm like, did she actually, influence when Dennis breaks his leg and all that? Like, was there any sort of like demonic kind of thing that happened? Like when Lee chokes, at the drive-in, like how much of that is actually Christine? Like what's her powers?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. And like they even say when I guess the former owner, or whatever it may be, caused the wife and the daughter when he went to go buy it, saying that
that's the thing too. Like the kid died, the wife died, and then he said they sold it and the car came back 3 weeks later, and
It's
this
a
and that.
possessed car.
So I mean it is possessed, but like what's okay? So the thing about the book is, I guess the book they explained that it was actually
Christine was never bad.
Yeah, it's actually the brother, the owner.
Yeah.
He was evil, and he, when upon his death, somehow transferred his evil to Christine.
Yeah.
And in the movie, it's like Christine was born evil. That's the explanation they give. Like she was just born
Yeah,
evil.
she comes off the line as evil.
Yeah, she chomps that dude like right. Yeah, that's what always makes me laugh at the beginning of this movie. Like you got like 50 guys standing around, like 4 of them are working, and you're all making enough money to feed families, and back then. So
What was the guy under doing? Like, how when they was coming off the assembly line, there was a dude in the bottom and he had like a stick. What the hell was he doing?
he's looking for bombs. It's a little mirror thing, like
Checking for leaks,
I don't know.
Okay,
Because
probably leaks, or I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Because I can pretty much figure out what everybody else was doing, but I was just trying to figure out what he was doing.
I would imagine that checking for leaks is like that is like at the end of the line, like everything's put together, and it's like the one guy was just, what the fuck was he doing down there with his hand there? And it's like, you're a car guy.
Yeah.
Was this your first fucking day? Like, not to just put your hand there. Like, that's the first thing he teach you as a little kid. Like, when you're out helping your dad
Don't put your
do something with the
hand
car, like,
under
don't
the
put your fucking hand right there.
Yeah.
You put your hand there, gone. Gone.
Don't touch those things.
Uncle Tommy, gone.
My
Hands
favorite
is the
part
same.
was how nobody realized that guy was missing or just dead sitting in Christine until the end of the day.
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, like they were all just standing around. Like 5 guys were actually working, and everyone was standing around. And like the cars were just going down the line. So it's like nobody's doing shit and just getting paid a lot to do nothing. And it's like, oh, where's Frank? I don't know.
The thing that I found funny too is how when the bell to send everybody to go home.
Yeah.
Everybody just stopped what they're doing. They just left. I'm like, I know you're coming back tomorrow, but what if you're in the middle of doing something that's really, really important that you need to do right then and there?
But maybe that's how it used to work. Maybe people were just like, nope, out. I'm not staying 5 minutes
Fuck
extra.
this.
No.
Like I will finish.
So like if you're welding and you have your little flame, you just drop it.
Just
like,
drops it.
Turn it off, drop it, like done. I'll be back.
I don't even think they turn it off.
In
To
the
me, it was like
morning.
they just drop it and be like, okay, we're going to start a fire because it's time to go home.
Fuck it, we're done. I heard the bell. Flintstones are out of here.
Yeah. And just like with The Thing and They Live, there's music everywhere.
Yes.
It's all 50s music
It's all
because that is
classic, great
Christine.
music,
The only
too.
thing this movie needed, and I say this with a huge grain of salt, Keith David.
Keith.
That's the only thing we needed.
Yeah, we did.
I mean,
need
we
some
didn't
Keith
need him, but
David.
we needed him.
We did.
I don't know
And-
where you would put him either. I mean, there's nowhere I think you could have fit him. I don't know.
You probably could have
What
made
character
it.
could he have played?
He
You
could
probably
have
could have
played
been the salvage owner.
The shop teacher.
The
no,
shop
the
teacher.
salvage. Darnell. I love Darnell. That
Darnell,
old man.
yeah.
Like, I always think of The Great Outdoors
Okay.
when he was in that movie. Yeah, he's been in a million things, and he's always been like that character that like he could go really scummy or not. Like he's just like a lovable, like dirty old man.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of looks scummy, but he's really always just like a nice old man.
Yeah.
It just looks kind of like, you would think he's scummy, but no, he's just a really nice guy.
You know what I thought was weird?
Except for, with Arnie, because Arnie needed to get, he needed to straighten out Arnie out a little bit.
Apparently,
Fucking kids.
everybody's trying to straight Arnie out. I mean, when we first meet Arnie and Dennis is like, listen, dude, we got to
Yeah.
get you laid. And Arnie's like, but I don't want to. I'll beat off.
I'll
Like,
just
that's
beat off.
literally a conversation. I was like, why?
Well, I don't know. I always thought that, I don't know. Arnie might have not fully been committed to women, I think. I don't know. I kind of see Arnie going the other way.
Maybe
So I think
Arnie
he-
just hadn't found the
I don't
right
know.
one yet.
I don't know.
Here's what-
It's the thing that makes me laugh about the whole thing about Christine obviously being jealous when he's dating Lee and all that.
Yeah.
It's like if it wasn't for Christine, he never
would-
would
yeah.
have
He
been
would not
with
have
like
got the
Lee
confidence.
or anything or
Yeah.
like that. It's like, but then it's like at the same time, like she's not gonna want anyone around you. So
No.
or you're fucked if you do, or fucked if you don't, Arnie. So did Arnie ever get laid or no?
I don't think
I don't
so.
think he did. He
She
tried
didn't-
to.
She
but
didn't want to do
wanted
it at the.
Well,
in
they
the
were heavy.
theater,
They were
at the
heavily
drive-in.
petting at the
Yes.
drive-in.
There was no heavily petting. She was stroking his dong there. Like
That's
they have
heavy petting.
They have a close up
And
where
he grabbed
she's
a
like
boob.
on his corduroy jeans or his corduroy
Yeah.
pants, or just like that is not heavy petting. I'm like, this is a fucking porno. Like,
No, that is heavy petting.
Yeah.
What did you
No,
think heavy
no.
petting was?
no, that is dry jerking someone off. All right, that is
That's
not
heavy petting.
No,
And that was the second time in the movie
that's
somebody
not
grabbed another
petting.
dude's junk.
That's
It
not
was
petting.
Yeah, that the goon.
no,
the
fucking
goons from
Moochie.
yeah.
Moochie. The guy's name is Moochie in the
Yeah.
fucking thing.
I wrote when Dennis is like, "Hey, have you seen Artie?" And that other kid's like, "Yeah, there's some 40-year-old in the fucking in the shop
No,
class
yeah.
holding him
No,
hostage. I don't know why."
No, I swear to God, the first time I saw this fucking movie, and you go in and he has this lunch and he's kind of like messing with him. I'm like, why is that shop teacher such an asshole, man?
Like he's obviously so much older
And
than
I'm
the
like
rest
5
of
years
them.
old. I look at my
What
dad, I'm like,
was
why
it?
is that guy being such a dick? And he's like, that's not the shop.
Here's what I had
I
to
think
say
my
about-
dad cracked up laughing. He's like, that's not the shop. I'm like, Dad, he's
Here's the
going
thing-
bald. I don't care how long you grow the hair in the back. The front is missing. I'm
It
like,
was
Yes.
feathered
I'm like, you
beautifully
can't-
too.
You can't tell, like that is. I'm like that guy looks older than John Travolta did in fucking Carrie.
As soon as I saw
And John
Buddy,
Travolta was like middle of the fucking 20s.
Yeah.
his hair reminded me of Rambo. He was like, "What does he have Rambo hair?"
He did.
But this was 78, so Rambo was still in Vietnam, I think.
Yeah, but he's still yeah. Oh, but here,
Rambo's cousin.
here's the thing that I do have to say about Arnie. I know it wasn't him, but it looked a lot like the dude from ER. What was his name? Anthony Edwards. Anthony
Does
Edwards.
not look like
Not
him.
at
It
all.
looked like him to me. I could not picture
Arnie
him.
now looks more like you than he does Anthony
No.
Edwards.
No.
Look at the
No.
picture.
He looks
Show
like the
him,
dude. He
Kim.
looks
Show
like to
him,
me.
Kim. Also, he has a very creepy picture on his IMDb profile.
He does.
Yeah.
But no, whenever I think of Arnie, I think of Jaws 3.
Two,
Two.
I think. Yeah, two. He's
Two?
in Jaws 2.
Was it 2?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'm
look
pretty
at him
sure
when he was
he's
a
two.
kid. Look, bring up Anthony Edwards.
No.
Anthony
It doesn't-
Edwards?
It doesn't,
No,
why does it matter?
not
It doesn't
at
look
all.
like him at all, man.
I think it does,
I
especially when he had the
strongly
glasses.
disagree.
Okay, if you look up Anthony Edwards as a young guy, he actually has fucking hair, and he was blonde as shit, man, like light blonde hair.
Yeah.
He looked like him to me. That's all I could picture was the dude.
Are you thinking of a Spanish version?
No.
A Spanish dub version
No.
of ER? Because this
He
is
looked
not
like him to
this
me.
is not Anthony Hopkins. I think you're confusing with him Anthony Perkins, maybe.
Anthony
Not
Perkins?
fucking Anthony.
Maybe.
Not fucking not Anthony Hopkins. What the fuck is the other guy's name? Anthony Edwards. Like, you're getting me confusing all these fucking guys now. And we're talking about Christine, damn it. So all right. So
He
this
looked
was
like
the
him to
same
me.
neighborhood that they filmed Halloween in. If we can get back to the fucking movie. Welcome to the Anthony Edwards podcast.
But anyway, back to what you were saying. Yes, when when Dennis comes in and tries to help out Arnie, that Moochie grabs his dick. I was like, did bullies grab dicks back in the day?
I know, like, what is it? He gets sucker punched and then he grabs him by the junk.
Yeah, and he just starts like squeezing dick. I'm like, whose move is that? Who's
like,
squeezing dick out there?
Every time I see that, I'm like, all Dennis would have to be like, really, dude? And everyone would have laughed at Moochie and he'd be like, no, it wasn't like that. And then everyone would have been like, Moochie. And then you would have probably been like, had an eating disorder, and
I just don't. I don't get it. He grabbed his junk, squeezed, and I'm like, what the fuck is he doing?
Even as an actor, I'd be like, wait, what? Why can't I just punch him?
Right? Like, why do I have to like longingly
why
hold
do we
his
need
dick?
a close-up of me holding his junk? Like, this is going to be on forever.
And then finally, the shop teacher shows up.
I fucking love the shop teacher. The shop teacher to me is the equivalent of the old bartender in Silver Bullet. Where he's like, I don't give a fuck, buddy. You're 35 years old. You still haven't fucking graduated. And I'm going to retire before your ass ever fucking does. And I love it. He just like grabs him. He's like shaking him and like wringing his shirt around. He's like, I'll fucking kill you, stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah, and then he's like,
we need shop teachers like that.
He's like, I'll just call the cops then, Dick Sack. Like, I'll just.
I had a high school teacher tell a kid, you're in the under 25 club. You'll be dead or in prison before you're 25. That is the kind of teachers we need in high school.
The ones that just don't care.
I don't know. No, those are the types of teachers we need.
Some people need to be like, you need to get your shit together or you're going to end up dead. That's fair.
Yes.
So fuck that. This is life, man.
Yes.
I thought it was funny that when Buddy finally leaves and like the teacher gets the knife and all that, he's like, get the fuck out of here. And he does that like that weird like intimidation thing. I'm like, are you dance fighting right now? Because like you're not even touching them. And like that fucking mullet is flowing in the air when you're like, he was doing those weird moves like and hitting the bay door or whatever. And I'm like, but you're not even touching them. And then you're just kind of like twirling around them. And he's like, I'll get you. And like, no, you're not.
I find it really hard to be intimidated by people who's got such tight clothing.
Yeah, it's like skinny jeans.
I'm like, your shirt's really tight. There's no movement in that. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, because Faux Rambo was, he kind of had some muscles or whatever. And he was a bigger dude than Dennis was or whatever. And Dennis just had that one punch and he was like, psh, he just fell under those boxes. I'm like, buddy, you just got laid out like a bitch.
Yeah, you did. Mm-hmm. Knife or no knife.
We need Smokey.
The thing that was funny too is what Buddy's little entourage included the guy from Ghostbusters.
I will never not associate that.
Yeah, every time I see his face, I'm like, his gums just got to fall out of his mouth.
I'm getting really tired of it here. Like, we're paying you, aren't we?
As soon as I saw him, like, where the fuck do I know this dude? And then Kim was like, Ghostbusters, like, and as soon as she said Ghostbusters, it took me to the part where he's like, the college, they just took me to that.
Yep. The other guy that he has in his I don't know if you call his gang or whatever, the really tall red-headed ginger dude, I always remember him as the nerd that had like a pet iguana in Just One of the Guys, another random 80s movie where this girl pretends to be a guy so she can get some sort of like newspaper internship, and she goes to a completely different high school and she falls in love with the dude, and at the end he's like, you're not a woman, and she pulls her boobs out. That's why I remember this movie. I was a little kid when this movie came out. There were boobs.
Didn't you remember?
I remembered him for Friday the 13th Part 2. He was left at the bar.
That's true. He's the one that survives.
Yeah.
Because he stayed there. He stayed there, and he was asking that weird old guy, like, where are the after hours? But I was like, hell yeah, let's go, man. I'm like, don't go with that guy, please. So he might not have survived, actually. He might be in some old guy's, he might be in jars in some old guy's fridge somewhere.
But we also met Arnie's mom, and like from the first get-go, you just see Arnie's mom's kind of a bitch.
Yeah, she is.
Like, she's just bitch. Yeah, she's not a nice lady. She's always bitching about something.
Even like, why turn your music down? Like,
she reminded me of what we call now helicopter parents. Always wanted to be in and having their kids do whatever they wanted to do. She was an 80s
Karen, too, because she was a very speak to the manager.
The other thing I did love about this movie was those damn cars. Holy crap.
I know. Buddy, a 35-year-old high school senior, is somehow magically able to afford a 1968 fucking Chevy Camaro.
Yes.
I'm like, what do you do? Like, you work where? Doing what? This is back then.
You haven't even graduated high school.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. Like, don't even need a high school diploma. You can afford all this shit because they work at
his car was nice.
Nowhere for $25 an hour.
Dennis's car was nice. And then obviously Christine.
I know. Christine's just out there repairing her damn self. I'm just like, that's the kind of cars we all need.
Dennis had, I believe, a 68 Charger.
They were still gorgeous, beautiful cars.
Yeah.
The thing that cracked me up though is
77.
what they're just driving along, and Arnie says, "Oh, you got to stop the car. You got to stop the car. I see a car that I like."
I put Arnie is bewitched by
I know.
Christine.
I was like, why of all days are you driving down this one random fucking dirt road in this weird little like shit neighborhood?
And then we get to see the dirtiest back brace of all back braces.
Don't ever trust someone in a dirty back brace. I don't care. If you have a back brace, that's fine. You might have some shit wrong with you.
But clean your back brace is all we're saying.
But you have that weird like metal and girdly, like you have to tighten it like
and I never thought of it as a back brace as a kid. I always thought of it as a girdle because that's what it looked like.
I was trying to figure out what he had on because I saw all the things on the front. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then when he turned around, I was like,
sort of weird dirty ass back brace.
No, I really think it's like a back brace from like the fucking like 40s or something.
It might be.
Like, it might have been like he lived in the back.
And that guy,
his backstory is he had back problems and he's just lived in that back brace since he was a child.
No,
the back brace is the only thing that's holding him up.
He shovels salt.
Yes.
To put
salt?
all
as
over the
soon as
sidewalk.
I saw him, I was like, where the fuck do I know him from? And again, Kim looked it up and he's like, it's Old Man Marley.
He has that classic, like iconic voice that you hear and you're like,
because as soon as he came on, Kim was like, is that Old Man Marley? I'm like, I don't know.
Yes.
So when she looked it up, I'm like, it's Old Man Marley.
Yeah.
Like, this is pre-Home Alone.
He put his victims into the salt. Melted all of their bodies. But Arnie's just bewitched by this car.
I love that his line about he's like he bought it when it was brand new. He's like it was a brand new car, had that new car smell. He's like nothing smells better than that. He's like except for maybe pussy. And I'm like no, because no one's genitals smell good on their own.
No.
That's just no. I'm like actual pussy smell. No. It probably smells nicer than his house if you saw his house. And it looked like shit.
And then you're wondering what kind of pussy that guy's been smelling.
Like, so the pussy that he would get owning that house, wearing that dirty ass back brace with just a wife beater underneath, whatever pussy he's getting does not smell remotely near a new car smell.
Yes.
It looked like his house just shit on the lawn. Like if a house could shit, that's what his house looked like. That's what
it did, yeah. And I love how he just starts telling him the whole brother backstory, and Dennis just has this look like, we just wanted to look at the car. We don't need a history lesson.
Like, the fuck is going on? Arnie, we need to get the fuck out of here.
And it's crazy to me how the Arnie saw that freaking for sale sign out of just there.
I know, because right in front of him, there's a shit ton of bushes.
Yeah.
It's not a clear path.
He was transfixed on this
car. Don't
car.
smell nice either.
And I don't care how much money you have or how much money you think you have. If you see an old dilapidated car like that, like why would you even want to spend any money on it?
I know Dennis was like, this isn't worth $50.
Because even Dennis said, he's like, he's like, how much do you want for it? And he said $300.
Why did you bring your checkbook with just
exactly?
What the fuck?
Well, he said he wanted it for $300, and he's like, you can get a much better car for $300. And I'm thinking, $300 now and $300 back in the 80s.
Fucking dumbass buddy has a '68 Camaro with like who knows what the fuck he does.
It's just beautiful. The cars just falling around, kids in these.
Seriously,
he buys it for $250. I'm like, okay, you buying a car for $250. You're gonna get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Herpes.
Herpes.
In that car with that guy that owns it that thinks pussy smells good with the way he lives. Yes,
like, I love how he's like, don't be bringing that car back here.
He's like, I'm selling it and get a condo. Like you ain't getting.
He's like, as soon as you get in that
who the
car,
fuck is gonna buy this house that just shit everywhere?
He's like, go get a tetanus shot.
Shit.
Because you're gonna get tinnitus from, or what is it? Tetanus from
tendinitis.
Tetanus. Go get a tetanus shot because you're gonna get tetanus from sitting in that fucking car.
And naturally, because Arnie's mom's a bitch, she's not quite happy about the car.
I love how she yells at Dennis and be like, "Why don't you raise a better kid,
Everyone
bitch? Why are you yelling
at Dennis.
at me?" Like,
Even Darnell. Even
and
when he goes, when he takes the car to Darnell's to store it there, he's like, "Why didn't you talk him out of it harder?" Like, well, this isn't my fault. I don't know why you guys are yelling at me.
I know it's like when Dennis's mom, when Arnie's mom's yelling at Dennis, and it's like, what the fuck did you want me to do? Like, he's your kid. Why did you let him take his checkbook with him this morning?
He has his own money.
Like,
I don't know why you think I'm in charge of Arnie. Like, what? I got to get this kid laid and watch his spending habits?
Jesus Christ!
I love how when he's got really nothing more to do, he's like, "Thanks for the milk."
You know he almost died today. Like, what the fuck? You want me to save his life and talk him out of a shit car? Like, I can't be everywhere, man.
Knife-wielding maniac.
You
know,
your Buddy,
son.
who's 35 and still goes to school with us. He brought a knife today, bitch.
Coincidentally, that man is dangerous.
So can I just sit here and enjoy my glass of motherfucking milk for 2 seconds and not have to worry about your son's ass for 2 minutes?
Be a parent.
Yeah. And Arnie's just like, fuck off, I'm doing this. Like, I do all the shit you want me to do. You're letting me have it. You're letting me have it. And she's like, you're not keeping it here.
And then we get introduced to Will Darnell.
His auto-wrecking service.
I don't give a fuck who you are.
And he don't take no shit from no kids. No snot-nosed kids are giving him shit.
And when he yells at him because like that's the last time you come in here without a...
Sir, you might want to tell those gentlemen not to be smoking in here. Then I'm like, don't get fucking smart.
Because he yells at him because he says, you're not going to come in here without an exhaust tube again. And, and he does that whole thing. He's like, you might want to tell those dudes over there to stop smoking. He's like, you little smart ass.
Kick you both right out. I don't even want to be here.
You know, Darnell just has all the best lines. Like, I don't take no shit from no smart
I just want to go home, man. It's been a long fucking day. I almost died today. I fought a dude with a knife.
I was traumatized.
He has that other line, you can't polish a turd. Like, it's not mine. Tell Arnie. I didn't buy it.
No, he was telling that to Papa.
Oh, that's
Remember
right.
him and the old guy's like, well, he's got good hands. And he's like, yeah, Papa, you can't polish a turd.
I love when he offers Arnie that job, and like he's kind of like, you're not taking advantage of me, but this is clearly like the nicest thing that Darnell has ever done in his life.
Like that, no, like that is why I'm like, he seems like a scummy asshole. He's like, you know what, I'll pay you a few dollars. You know, you pick up some shit around here. You know,
you do this, you do that.
And then we're like, well, let me think about it. What the fuck you think about it? You kick on your ass. So then he's like snap like on the dime. He's like, I'm an asshole again. You stupid ass.
He can turn on you on a second.
There's so many great one-liners.
Like scummy bastard with a heart of gold.
Yeah. Well, there's so many random lines in this too, because I think Dennis's friends, when he first sees Lee, and we haven't seen Lee, he's like, she's got the she looks smart, but she's got the body of a slut. I'm like, what exactly does the body of a slut look like? Because I've known
it looks like this.
I mean, sluts come in all sizes, guys. I'm just saying.
If we're being all right. Well, this was California sluts. Maybe that's
I don't know. I've seen sluts California all across the nation.
Okay, this was
sluts
the 70s.
come in all shapes and all sizes.
This movie was made in the 80s, but it was set in 1978. So this was the 70s when, you know, food was actually real and everyone was healthy all the fucking time.
I'm not slut shaming any ladies. Get it. You get it out there. You're all beautiful.
I know, especially like you're in high school in fucking California. Who gives a shit, man? Like, fuck it.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention 12-year-old.
Like everybody's got cars.
12-year-old Jamie.
21-year-old.
What's her face?
Jennifer. Why can't I think of her?
I can't think of her name.
Cam, you're drowning over here.
Yeah, you're drowning and you're playing on your phone.
Kelly
Preston, rest in peace, ma'am.
Yes.
And then I was surprised that you see Alexandra Paul from Baywatch fame.
Yes. Well, she's very young in this.
Yes, she was.
And she looks like young and kind of chipmunk cheeked, kind of like,
you know,
just
even when I was young
face.
and watched Baywatch, every time I saw her, I'm like, she's not a good actress.
She somehow got worse. Like she wasn't.
She says her lines really breathy.
I
think
it's her acting style or it's her voice or something. But there's, I get what you mean. Like there's something. It was like she seems like dumber than she actually is.
Yes, it's like why?
Because there was some.
Dragnet.
Oh yes. Well, fuck, what was her name? The Virgin Connie's Whale. Yes, got it. No, she was in some movie with Kevin Costner also in the 80s where it's like him and his brother ride fucking bicycles or some shit. Like they're competitive cyclists. And she's in the movie and like she's like the dumbest character in the movie. Like complete like ditzy blonde, but she's not really blonde kind of person. So I'm like, I really just think it's the way that she delivers like her voice or something.
Okay.
Yeah, but everybody wants Lee. Everybody in school is like, new vagina. We need to get it.
Fresh meat.
Well, their friend, what?
Yeah, even George was like,
she's cute.
No, George, the old man.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking about the back brace. Like he showed up at the high school and was like, fresh meat.
Ew.
Someone else in town. He enjoys the smell of new vagina and new car. Okay. And dirty back brace.
I don't want to meet the guy out there smelling vaginas. Don't be that dude, okay?
It's called gynecologist.
No, they wear masks.
Okay, well maybe now. I mean, I don't.
They end up in there smelling vaginas.
We don't know what it was like.
I know that you don't know what gynecologists actually do because you've never visited one, but nobody puts their face in your vagina when you go to them.
Did you go to a gynecologist in the 70s? Because that's all I'm saying.
So you're saying back in the 70s they used to have to stick their face in the vagina?
Well, with
How
those,
do you know they didn't? You don't go to one in the 70s.
With those kind of bushes, you had to get in real close to get in to see some
that's
stuff.
true.
Or
That
to
is
get in there. So
true.
yeah, they had that. That's actually what that little eye thing is. Like, you know, when the doctors have that circle thing with the little small hole. in
It's
it?
to reflect the
That's-
light to
No,
see
it's-
through the vagina
Yeah,
hair.
well, the hole is to peek in, and the rest is like it's kind of like a
There you go.
smell guard kind of thing, or just maybe splash guard. I don't know what's going on down there.
Oh,
Well, if you need a splash guard to go to the gynecologist, there's something
Again,
wrong with you.
Again, well, okay, that's when you go. They're like, "There's something wrong here." All right,
That thing
let's
should be shooting out of you
let's take- yeah.
anytime involuntarily.
It's like
okay.
it's like the thing with that scene where they're shooting the dog.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh,
like
my
we just
goodness.
talked about last week.
Yeah, you need some penicillin or something if that's going on.
You need some antibiotics.
All right, George is going to come in here real quick, give this a whiff, and then you'll be out of here. All right? Hello.
All right, enough with the vagina talk.
Let's talk about new car smell instead.
But next time we see Arnie, because there's really just a part where he lulls for a while. We don't see him
Yeah.
for a bit. Next time we see him, he's pulling up to the fucking football game with some big dick energy and a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Well, he has what they did strategic. I don't know if you want to call it strategically or whatever, but
Strategery.
strategery. They kind of, as he progressed and got more and more consumed by Christine, they had him dressed like a 50s kind of greasy.
I saw
guy.
that,
Like, it was
yeah.
kind of a
Noticed
slow
that.
progression, and even till the end where he's wearing that red jacket, like exactly like James Dean's jacket and shit
Yeah.
like that. So it's like he was like going through that progression into Christine madness. I don't know. What would you call it?
Well, the first time you see him when
Basically,
he
he
actually
was
starts
pussy whipped by a car
By a
without
car.
getting any. Did he ever get laid in this
No.
movie?
No.
because he got.
No.
It's
Boy
not heavy.
died a virgin.
It's not heavy
He died
petting.
a
It's just
virgin.
really it's pants jerk is what it is.
Heavy petting is pants jerk.
No, heavy.
Because the next step is just intercourse.
Because
It's
that's
just
not-
insertion,
that's
penetration.
That's not petting. Then if you're grabbing and doing them, that's not petting.
Paul's
Do
just
you-
angry about
no,
these.
Do you go up to a dog and grab it like you're jerking somebody out? Is that how you pet dogs? See,
That's how you play Red Rocket with one.
Maybe that's how Chris. Maybe that's how Lee.
Saul,
fucking
did you
does-
just admit to bestiality? on
No,
the air?
I'm thinking South Park because remember they do
Sure,
that. They
well,
played
maybe
Red
you
Rocket.
should put some better context in that before you start.
Yeah.
Like, Red Rocket. Give me why?
But Dennis is like, "What's
No,
going on?"
no,
with
we
my
don't need the
friend?"
peanut butter this time, boy. Kim, did you see Christine?
Yes.
Was that pants jerking or heavy petting?
She's lost in a train of thought.
It's pants jerk.
Heavy petting.
It's pants jerk.
That's pants jerk.
Heavy petting is what you call anything before intercourse.
If you're actually grabbing something through the pants, that's not petting.
All right, fine. But pants jerk, you can't really jerk. There's not enough movement. I don't want to get too technical about this.
Well, he did.
You
have-
can't fully jerk if it's suspended in the pants. Okay.
I'm not saying, but I didn't say jerk to completion. I'm saying it's pants jerk. Fine, you're not going to finish pants jerk unless you're like Harold from The Stand.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not heavy petting. Not heavy petting. What heavy petting is,
And wouldn't you think that Arnie would?
Arnie probably did.
Arnie,
but
for
that's still-
sure.
but that doesn't count. You're still a virgin.
The horse, what would we say that is? The prematureness.
Yeah.
An oopsie.
Arnie had a gimme.
Because he was a virgin, right?
Yeah.
So if you get into
Yes,
that
he
far,
was-
you're going to
he was.
have a
I know,
slip up.
especially if you're 18 or, what was it? He was 17.
17.
Yeah. If you're 17 and he was like, well, maybe I'll just jerk off. I'm like, you've never jerked off and you're 17, then yeah. Just the fact that here's what happened. He went to pick her up and as soon as she sat down in the car, he's like, what was that, Arnie? Nothing, but we have to go.
And then he couldn't take his pants off because they were stuck to him the
That's
rest
why
of the
she
night.
tried to get him off, but they were just cemented to him because they were tight already. And then it's like that Friends thing where Ross has those leather pants and
He's trying to get the lotion and they make a paste with it.
Yes, that's what happened to Arnie. And the rain was there.
rain,
It was
yeah.
just too much. I love when he's like. The peeping Tom in the car next to them is really what saved fucking Lee from choking to death. Because it was like, as soon as she got out, that guy was just staring. Like, they have that shot, and it's like, why is this guy fucking just staring at them? Like, all creepy and shit.
I know he watches Lee walk away, and I'm like, what is he doing?
was watching them make out and fucking pants jerk in there.
He couldn't afford the adult theater, so he went to the regular theater.
Well, hey, in that town, you're like, well, it's raining. That's what the fuck. If there's anyone at the drive-in,
it was the 70s. Everybody was jerking it at the drive-in in the 70s or getting pregnant with their no condom having asses.
Hey, not in Florida, because if we go back to
yeah, they were full on boffin and quaffin and what was it?
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about the 2001 Maniacs. I'm talking about what is blood rage?
Blood rage.
I was talking about blood rage.
That's not cranberry sauce. She's clapping in the wind as she's running away.
Arnie, why is there mayonnaise everywhere? See, that would be a perfect Lee delivery too. She's like, why is there mayonnaise everywhere?
I love how Dennis goes back.
My hot dog.
Dennis goes back to Dirty Back-Based Guy, and he sees him. He's like, "What the fuck do you want?" I said, "No backs." Like,
no takebacks. No takebacks. Like, yeah, you're going to your condo.
And then the brother gives him the full backstory. So he only gave him half the backstory last time they were there, but then Dennis gets the rest of the backstory about his brother and his wife and his child. Apparently, all died in Christine.
That's only after he's like, "I know your brother died." And he's like, "All right, well, you know part of it. I'll tell you the rest, I guess."
But then I love how the radio.
I'm moving to Chicago suburbs.
The radio I've always loved, and when I first saw Transformers with Bumblebee, that's what it made me think of, because that's how I was like, he's talking like Christine, because that's basically how Christine talks.
Bumblebee's gonna kill people.
Because when the goons go back, even when Dennis goes back to try to get into Christine, and he notices the odometer is going backwards.
The thing that cracked me up, and I can't ever not hear of it, is when they were doing the thing when it started playing, you keep on knocking, but you can't come in.
Yeah,
it takes me back to Cheech and Chong when they're doing their
Dave's not here.
No, the one thing where they're knocking at the door is like, you keep on knocking, but he sings that.
Yeah,
he does.
That's what I think.
Oh, this movie is so great. But Dennis gets demon knocked over at football, right? Is that what we decided?
He gets his.
Yes, it's
Christine's aura or whatever, her powers, I don't know.
It's when she gets really bright, she's angry and she can have magic.
Okay, so that's the other thing. Okay, I don't remember how many cars they had, but I think it was something like 28 cars or some shit like that. Like they had a bunch of cars. So
they had the stunt cars.
Yeah. Well, Darnell's garage was actually an old wire factory that they took over. So half of it was made up to look like Darnell's garage, and the other half was actually a garage just to fix all the fucking movie cars, because they kept breaking down and they kept having to change them out. So if you look at the front of the car, underneath the license plate, like behind the license plate, there's a spot under the grill where the license plate is. The ones that are chrome are the souped up like show cars that were actually like really nice collector cars back then. And then the ones that are painted red were like the junker cars that were like, we're going to fuck this car up, or we found it in the junkyard and it's already fucked up. So it was like a weird thing that you were able to tell like which one was which. And I'm assuming that he did that on the set, just to make sure they didn't fuck up the wrong car kind of thing.
The thing that I got to say about the high school football game, again, me being the football person that I am, and with it being high school, they were playing in the fucking day.
Too. I was like, I don't know.
Like, you don't play in the day and Saturday. What? Like, is this Pee-wee football?
You purists.
And I find it funny that 35-year-old Faux Rambo and his gang were there at the football game.
I know.
Even though they had been expelled.
Yeah.
Well, he was expelled. The other got probation. Like, Moochie was like, he couldn't grab dicks for a week. So he had to sit home.
Now
and just
Moochie, no more grabbing dicks.
Moochie grabs dicks. Moochie grabs dicks because he gets a ride from a trucker later. That's right.
And those are the rules of the
road.
road.
The rules of the road.
Yep, we gotta follow them.
Moochie's like, thanks, and he's wiping his mouth.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. You ain't mad, are you, Arnie? I'll give you the rules of the road.
Oh, Moochie, man.
That's why they call him Moochie.
It makes sense.
He's a moocher. He mooches.
But Christine, we forgot to mention, before Christine chokes Lee out, Lee punches Christine in the seat.
Oh, yeah.
And then she just glows and chokes her.
It's like, don't do that.
Don't do that, bitch.
The fuck you gonna do, Arnie? I wanted her to punch Arnie one time. At least.
I know.
Like, that's all that needed to happen. Like, if she would have slapped Arnie, he'd have been like, okay. And then, like,
in the
bitch.
perfect moment was when she's like, no, Arnie, I almost died in your fucking car. Something crazy just happened. And he's like, maybe you're just sexually frustrated. He's like, right in the face. I'll fucking punch you in the face, Arnie. This is what's going to happen. I literally wrote, no, Arnie. No.
Her dumbass even like...
Arnie was that close to the goal line, though. Can you blame him?
Yes.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing that him being stupid. He does that, and then her dumbass when he says to her, well, can I at least call you tomorrow? And she's like, you should have just said no.
Yeah, no.
She's like,
she did say no. She took a while to say no, but she still was like,
she's like, you should have.
No, I think she was like, well, I'll think about it or something.
She should have just flat out said no. It was like, I almost died in your car and you didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm. You yelled at the guy who was trying to help me.
And then again, him being the douchebag, he's like, I thought he was trying to attack you. He was like, he was giving me the Heimlich.
I think that the guy that gave the Heimlich, I think he finished when he gave her the Heimlich. Because when she finally spits it out, like he has that moment, he's like, like he has an exclamation too. And I'm like, dude, that dude just like.
Paul, you don't need to make the movie weirder than it is.
Lucky
okay,
for him
that's all I'm saying.
I'm sorry that there's weird people at the fucking drive-in. What do you want?
Maybe that's why they stopped being makeout spots.
He was
because people were just looking in too much.
Well, someone got murdered in Florida. Someone's over here choking on hot dogs and shit. Like.
And speaking of the rain, where the hell were they where they had that torrential downpour of rain where it looked like it was just...
Yeah, California, apparently.
Apparently, and the fucking drive-in was still like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, it was...
I know, I'm like, I don't know, would the drive-in still... I think they would, but it's like... You know, whoever's at the drive-in when it's pouring like that is just there to do it.
Yeah, they're just there to fuck.
And that's why that guy was there by himself. He's like, I'm going to watch these people fucking... Oh, she pants jerking there? Yeah. That's not heavy petting anymore.
But it's after the drive-in.
Yes, pants jerking is after heavy petting. You're right.
No. we already decided it couldn't be full pants jerking. But anyway, after the drive-in.
I never said it was full.
That is when the goons and the 35-year-old buddy break into the garage. They don't really break in. They sneak in.
Yeah.
And
guess what? Moochie says he knows where he keeps the car.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's one place in this town.
Right. There's one wrecking place.
There's one place that he could afford as a fucking non-working student in high school. Yeah, it was funny to me that they were just like, hey, let's just go in there and fucking take. And they waited for Buddy to be like, let's start this. They had to like sit there and wait. It was like, I know, we can't do anything.
Then
we can't do anything.
Yeah,
it was almost like they were almost like monkeys.
Yeah,
like
that beforehand.
And then the alpha male comes in and he's like, let's do it now.
Guess what? They're swinging the sledgehammers, hitting the ground with it. I'm like, those things are fucking heavy.
Yeah, don't waste your energy.
I gotta say that I've always appreciated and tremendously the practical effects on how they make the car look like it's coming back together.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in
reassemble.
reverse. They so basically it's a practical effect where they put hydraulic pumps inside, and then they shot it to where the pumps just pulled back on certain areas and then crumbled the fenders, and all that. The metal basically, and then you show that in reverse, and it's showing the car coming back together. So I'm like, just a simple practical effect and showing it in reverse, but it's so effective, and it's so much better than I mean, if they did this shit today, they would want to use CGI or something that would just look fucking horrible. But
Arnie sees his poor broken car and becomes unhinged.
Destroyed that car.
Doesn't he say somebody took a shit on the?
Somebody shit on the dashboard.
Yeah.
You can wipe shit away. No, you can't, Arnie.
No.
When he's talking to the cop later, and he's like, "Well, you can wipe shit away." I'm like, "No, you can't," because that. The memory or the ghost shit, if you will, will always haunt me wherever the shit.
And you know
was.
what I never said like somebody shit on that. I automatically be like, but how did they do it? So I have to imagine somebody like up there on their knees, like squatting. Yeah, it was like
I think he said it was a dashboard. So I'm like, you broke the windshield and then you had to like stick your ass over.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what if you slipped and just like, how do you explain that? And you go to the fucking hospital like, well, trying to take a shit on this guy's
because you fell into all the broken glass that you just caused.
I cut my ass up, and then like I was bleeding, and Moochie started grabbing my dick, and then I was like, "What the fuck, man?" And I'm like,
well, back to what
I was giving you CPR. Like that's not how you do it, Moochie.
Kind of like what Paul's saying. Yeah, no matter what, even it's always going to have that memory of that somebody shit on there.
Mm-hmm. Arnie becomes unhinged. In my next note, I wrote he becomes emo at dinner.
Yes.
He gets very sad, and he gets sad, dark emo eyes.
You don't understand.
And he threatens to beat up his dad, and he calls him a motherfucker, which is technically true.
That's true.
I mean, he did fuck his mom.
I know. We had talked about that. Like, yeah, your mom.
Mm-hmm. I love how you were talking about how Christine like reassembles and stuff, and it just becomes like Arnie's just like hugging her one day and like, show me. Like, show me, Christine.
I can give you anything, Arnie, except vagina.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could be like one of those weird people that I saw on one of those TLC shows where they're in love with their car and they have sex with their car.
It's Yeah, Arnie put a custom tailpipe.
People be crazy, man.
Yes.
I could see it happening. Yeah,
People
Arnie,
be crazy.
Arnie did something.
Cray.
He just, rubbed up and down the back seat for a while, and then.
Ew.
And then I was like,
So do you think Christina would get mad if like he nutted on her seat?
I don't know.
I mean, she doesn't
if
like.
she was into it, I mean, I don't know. Some chicks are into it, some chicks aren't. I mean,
Does he think he tossed her a towel at the end?
Yeah, like, oh, there you go, baby.
I don't know with Christine because again, the thing
It just goes back inside.
Because what? It was her fault that she gave Arnie all that confidence.
Yep.
And then she got jealous because she gave him all that confidence. But then again, Christine killed somebody for dropping ash.
Yeah.
Cigarette ash on her
the seat, yeah.
So what do you think she would do if someone did jizz on her? I don't know.
I guess we have to ask George what his brother did in that situation.
Yeah.
Dirty back brace George, but
dirty back brace George.
I thought okay.
Oh, and does that mean there's ghosts come in the seats somewhere? Oh.
Black like those.
It's like the back seat of a 70s cab.
Oh god.
There you go.
Well, hey, if anybody's got a 70s car out there, you know a baby was made at least once in that bitch.
If anyone
If
anyone has a car from the 70s, it's possible you were the baby that was made in that car. If that car was given to you by someone older than you, if you have an uncle that is like, this is one of your cousins got conceived in there. Whoever gave you that fucking car fucked in that car.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought I want to go back to the scene where the whole knife thing. I thought it was funny that when the shop teacher actually just came in and he was like, "You two go to the office, like you Moochie fucking Ghostbusters kid, get the fuck out of here." And he's like, "Where's the knife?" And then he asks Arnie, and like Arnie's like a little bitch, like doesn't say anything. I'm like, Arnie should have manned up because Arnie tried earlier in the fight where he's like, "Put the knife down and we'll do it." And I'm like, all right, Arnie, there you go. Grow some balls, man. But then, he just fucking slipped on his yogurt and ruined any chance he had of ever being taken seriously as, a man or whatever. So when the shop teacher's like, where's the knife? Like, I wanted Arnie to grow balls and be like, well, he pulled it out and was like, I'll fucking cut you. And then when you started to come in here, he hit it in his butthole. Like, just to fuck with Buddy. Because especially at that point where it's like, the shop teacher's like, you two get out of here. And he's like, there's 3 of us and 1 of you, Buddy.
Moochie sexually harassed me. He touched my dick.
He's like, Moochie grabbed my dick. He's like, he was standing there in the corner just like ramming that knife in his butthole.
We were like, stop, dude.
We were like,
no.
Dude, what the hell? And he was like, I need lube. And he took my yogurt and it's all over the floor. Like,
and I was like, we don't want to see this, Buddy.
Like,
no.
Wow, Buddy, like you're 40 years old, man.
Why are you here?
Our word against yours.
Yeah, this is like, who you gonna believe? Huh? Arnie should have just fucking just went to town. Like, he was like, oh, shop teacher Jenkins is so sexy. I want to rub my hand over his bald head. He's like, I would have just fucking went for it, Arnie. You could have made that fucking dickhead just pissed off at you.
Hey, when in doubt, confuse a bully. Yes, it works.
There you go. That's all it is.
Like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah. But Christine goes on a revenge rampage. And doesn't it kind of feel that she let them break her a little too easy?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it was kind of like a choice of hers to just be like, this is what'll set Arnie over.
The only reason I think that is because when Moochie went in there and started knifing the interior,
yeah,
she could have easily she turned on, the music came on.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, okay, she's going to do something to kill these guys. But no, she just lets it happen because she could have easily swung her door closed.
Yeah, she has. She's swung closed
done
things
something
before.
in there to kill one of them that way.
Yeah,
but
when Moochie or Ghostbusters guy was taking a shit in the dash, she could have done something.
Yeah. So I always kind of felt like she kind of allowed it.
It was a test to see how if Arnie was
how he would react to it.
True his love was.
Yeah. But
bitches,
Arnie,
like, what is wrong with bitches be testing people all the fucking time?
Life is a test enough,
games,
people.
Man.
We don't got to be playing no games.
Car or otherwise, if you got someone that's playing games, get away from them.
Set boundaries.
You ain't got time to play no games.
You got to play no
but then
games.
she finally decided to go on that murderous rampage.
She did, and she takes Moochie out first. And I always loved how he thinks he's safe.
Yeah.
In that little spot where he can't, the car can't fit in. And then Christine just fucking destroys herself to get in there and squash him.
I know it's movies, but again, it drives me nuts when you see somebody running away from a car, regardless if it's possessed or whatever need be, that all of a sudden they're, for whatever reason, that much faster than the car. Like, In real life, that shit ain't gonna happen.
Oh yeah, I know. You see it like 4 times where it's a different stunt dude running. I'm like, that ain't Moochie.
I'm like, Moochie would have been having that hard breathing like a fat kid from
Little Giants.
Moochie, he wouldn't have made it because as soon as you see him like come right after,
like Christine would have just rolled up and he'd be like, and he had a heart attack and be like, all right, well that was easy, I guess. Like fuck you, Moochie.
Because as soon as she revs her engine,
jerking truckers at this truck stop.
As soon as she revs that engine and starts going towards him, it's like okay, he's gonna mow him down like right away, and he's all of a sudden like quite a few distance away from him while she's coming at him. Like, come on, I know this is a movie thing, but it drives me nuts.
I know, and I was just like, get somewhere higher than the road.
Not just that,
like,
though, but
stand behind a barrier. Stand behind. Like you left the underside of the freeway. Where like, okay, column. Oh, yeah. I'll stand on this side now. What are you gonna do? Okay, you're gonna go around that thing. Oh, I'll just hop over.
Because he jumped over a barrier to get to the other side where he thought he was gonna be safe.
Like just stay there and keep jumping over the barrier.
Keep going back and forth.
What are you gonna do?
That's if a car is chasing you, just get somewhere a car can't go. Like there was nobody in the car.
And the other thing too, when he was running down that alley too, there were some openings in the side. I'm like, you can probably go into those.
Oh,
and it's not going to be able to turn in that little alleyway.
Yeah, I was like, there was other buildings and places around for him to get up to besides jumping that fence. I was like, why did you jump that fence? It didn't make any sense to me.
Moochie, you were not jumping the fence.
He's not good at life choices, Moochie.
He just wants to jerk truckers and eat pizza. Right.
Or the other thing he could have done too is he could have gone on top of the car on the hood because obviously what the hell is the car?
I know that's the one thing I always thought too. Like once the car's like making its way into that thing and like obviously it's not going very fast. I'm like, you just run and jump on top of the car.
Yeah,
and,
run on the hood, run over it.
Yeah, like. But no, apparently it sawed him in half. It was like in the scary movie where it's like, the tree is holding her together.
Imagine your wife is the taco.
She broke her wiener?
Did anybody else wonder why Arnie took Dennis beer at Thanksgiving? I was like, they don't seem like they're talking during this time. No. I don't know why Arnie just showed up with a case of beer on Thanksgiving.
It's like... you're in the fucking hospital on Thanksgiving and nobody was there. It's like, all right, bring you a few.
How long was he in that fucking hospital?
Quite a while.
Yeah, it had to have been a couple months, I think.
Yeah.
Because that was, it showed, I think it was it like the beginning of November maybe when he,
because I know he took a really bad hit, but what happened?
I think he broke his leg. Broke, yeah.
Like he broke his leg and they were like, it was leg or something else, I think, too. Like,
when Arnie first goes to see him, he's got a neck brace on, too.
Yeah, that's
so there might have been like a back issue because I think he mentioned something like if something was more centimeter this way, I'd be paralyzed.
Yeah.
So there's definitely, a back problem as well as, the broken leg or whatever.
Yeah.
When every time I see that scene and it's like he gets hurt and everyone's around and like they're waiting for the stretcher, I'm always like, and I literally yelled to the TV while we were watching it last time, like, put in Lucas.
Did you notice that one of them was clapping?
It was Buddy and his friends.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I heard the clap. I heard the clapping.
No, if you look in the corner where they're standing, it's them. Like because it showed that close up or that medium close up of them clapping, but when they go to that wide shot, they're still clapping in the background.
Because I heard somebody clapping. I was like, what the fuck is clapping?
Yeah,
that's what sportsman's like.
Yeah, it was 45-year-old Buddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Faux Rambo.
A 45-year-old named Buddy.
Yeah.
With Rambo hair.
With Rambo hair. And the tightest clothes imaginable.
And he's balding in front. It's like that time when Michael Bolton was going bald. Like, dude, just you gotta let it go.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how long you grow it in the back.
Yeah.
Like, come on, it's not there.
I really like how when Buddy's devolving.
Now he looks like a weird pirate with short hair. I don't know why.
As not Buddy's devolving. I love as Arnie's devolving. He's still kind of
Buddy's devolving too.
Buddy is devolving.
The
yeah,
hair's just going down his back. Basically, the hair is just moving from the top of his head down to his ass.
Downwards. Yeah,
that's what happens when you get
Arnie
old.
calls Lee because he still loves her, even though he basically told her to fuck off after Christine got
Lee. You're the closest thing I have to being able to have sex.
A vagina. Yes,
so,
and I love how he calls her and he's like, "I think we should get back together," and she's like, "I don't know, Arnie," and then he's like, "Fine, fuck you, bitch." And hangs up the phone.
That's like on a dime. Like, all right, I think
he flipped the script and then he gets back on the phone. It's like, "Are you still there?" It's like,
"Hello,
oops.
I'm sorry." Like,
I'm sorry, I dropped the phone. Like, no, you didn't.
Like,
you threw that out. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, Arnie, that's called abuse. No,
yes.
No,
Run
Arnie.
away. You don't need to be around that.
See, I always thought like if Arnie had just listened to Lee, like when she was like, "Sell the car," I'm like, imagine if Arnie sold the car. He would have had way more than $250 for it because now he fixed it up.
Now
and
he
it was
fixed it up,
just
yeah.
like
Nice.
sweet and everything. He would have got way more than that. And I'm like, what if you just found your passion? You know, Arnie, like you want to fix up old cars and sell them. Like, and you're like, I don't need to go to college. I love doing this. I have the experience now.
Lee can go to college while you fix up old cars. Happily ever after.
Lee goes to college, learns business. You open a shop. You're done.
You're good. You're set.
Yeah, but no, Arnie.
Yeah.
Don't fall in love with your stupid
It's
possessed
actually
cars,
Lee's
kids.
fault. If Lee would have gave him sex, he would have listened to anything Lee said.
No. Just because he didn't get vagina doesn't mean that it's anybody else's fault but Arnie's. Okay.
Well, he would have listened to everything she said. He would have been pussy whipped on actual pussy now instead of a car.
No.
She turned Arnie into an incel.
Yes. Yes. Because it's the vagina's fault.
It works in mysterious ways.
Maybe y'all are just putting pussy on a pedestal.
He turned him into an incel. That's what happens.
What's that thing? I keep hearing that.
What, incels?
No, he's putting the pussy on a pedestal.
We're quoting the movie for no
40-year-old virgin. But then Christine's like, I'm going to go get Buddy now. I'm ready to take on the big bully.
Yeah.
And she does. She goes out with a bang, man. She just fucking fucks shit up.
I love that it's just like him running and it's like you have nowhere to fucking go, buddy. Like there's nothing you can, because it's like
serpentine.
No, not even that, because it's like, okay, you're in the middle of a road in the middle of nothing, and then we assume there's just fields next to it, right? I mean, that's
why
the way
not fucking run on the field.
That's what I said.
I'm like,
mattered,
though.
I don't even care. Just run off the road. Go somewhere not smooth.
But that bitch was on fire. She didn't give a fuck.
She was on fire.
Man.
She was. She blew up a building and then just was driving down the street on fucking fire.
She fucked up his Camaro.
Yes, destroy the Camaro and then what?
And blew up Lizard Guy and Ghostbusters.
Yeah, she took Ghostbusters down like right on, didn't she? Didn't she run into him?
That's right.
Yeah.
Like she smashed him into the thing.
She smashed him with the car.
Yeah.
And that's when like the whole station went on fire and Buddy just fucking booked it. And I was like,
Buddy was like, I'm out of here.
Go, man.
Yeah, but she kills the big bully while
kill
lit.
You, man.
Christine lit as fuck out there driving
figured
her.
that if Christine didn't go run him down, he'd still be running.
Yeah. But yeah, I just love that it's so simple too, or it's like, boom, boom. No, there's just a body.
And then it's just a burning body. You're like, fuck.
Burning body in the middle of the road.
Yep.
It'll put itself out in a little while.
And
I love that she gave no fucks when she came back to the garage and was still like smoking and shit.
Yeah.
And I've always found it hilarious that, you know, because obviously it's Christine doing it on her own or whatever. I've always found it hilarious that she goes in and she still backs it the fuck in.
She does. Like she gets right back in her spot.
Like she was like, all right, she's like, this is how I live, bitch.
But then Arnie's boss is in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Poor darn.
I know. What? I feel like.
He thought somebody had come back for Arnie's car. He was trying to
why did she kill him? That's the one I don't get.
I think it's because he saw how fucked up she was.
Yeah, I know. I think once he was like, he knows the secret. Like, I can't let him live. I guess. I don't know, man.
He was just the wrong place.
But that was when I'm like, wow, he didn't deserve to die.
He didn't. He was really looking out for Arnie, and I think
look out for Arnie.
And that's Arnie realizes it. I think Arnie realizes what happens because when he comes back and the cop guy is there, he's like, "Look, I don't know anything. I really don't know anything. What happened?" Like he really feels.
I went to Bedford. I bought parts. I came home. I beat off.
That's one thing he starts. What is it? It was before that because the first time he started asking him a bunch of questions about what happened to him.
When he kills Moochie.
It
was after Moochie died, and you know he was asking him about the car and all that. And what is his name? Harry Dean Stanton. Love that actor.
I always think of him from Red Dawn.
I always like, avenge me.
Yeah.
Every time, like I can't. I think I don't know. I think he might have passed now, but I was always like, if I ever saw that guy, like,
he was in the first Avengers too. As that random guy that
finds
Hulk.
The Hulk.
Yeah.
He was like, I figured these wouldn't fit you until you turned back into a regular fella.
Yeah. I love him.
Oh, with the warehouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, you came through green and then you weren't green no more.
Yeah.
You were alien.
Yeah.
Got something wrong with you, boy. Yeah. Avenge me.
He comes back and he starts questioning him about Moochie's
death. He's like, she said, there were holes in the door. I don't see anything. If blah blah blah. He was asking him all those questions. He's like, I heard somebody shit on your dashboard. He's like, well, you can wipe shit away. Like,
wipe off.
No. Like you can't. You can't wipe it away, but that stain is still always going to be there, regardless of you clean it up or not.
People don't. It's like if you shit your pants in school, people will always remember.
Yeah.
So if
people don't forget, Todd, isn't that what he says?
The little Franco.
Yeah,
like everybody's gonna know that.
So if you shit your pants in school, we're sorry. This is, just how it breaks. But nobody knows now. So
I remember my in my first grade year, my mom came in to bring in cupcakes for my birthday, and she was really tall, and another kid saw her and like looked up really high and got scared and cried. I still remember that. His name was Kevin.
Wow, sorry, I'm just outing Kevin.
Sorry, Kevin.
Jesus, fuck, man. Well, at least he didn't piss his pants. I thought that's what you were going with the story. Like he looked up.
No, but my thing is, people don't forget if you shit or if you've pissed yourself. People remember that.
Pee pants, Kevin. Hey, man, fuck you. That's why I didn't go back to high school reunions. I'd be like, man, you remember that time you shit your pants? I'm 40 years old, motherfucker.
How do you still remember
Stop
that?
bringing that up.
People don't forget.
People don't forget. Sorry. Just, you know what? We're all going to shit our pants sometimes.
But now Lee and Dennis must unite to help save Arnie.
Because what?
Did it seem like they were getting really close?
Yeah, I think
I was
she
like,
was
why
like,
are they all like lovey on the couch together?
I think she kind of was like, I made the wrong choice. Like clearly, I should not trust my choices in men because he was, he's a nice guy and asked me out, but I was already like, I'm gonna pants jerk Arnie at the drive-in. Sorry. Like, bitch, why? It was the car. See.
Well, the one thing you got to appreciate.
Well, Arnie got there first. If we're gonna be honorable, Arnie. She said, "I already have a date."
Yeah.
So Arnie had already got there.
Okay,
before.
but was that the still her first day?
I don't think so, but she had. But look at his friend. I was like, that other 42-year-old individual that was just short.
That was talking about losing his virginity as well.
Yeah, who was like, she's got a body of a slut. Yeah, fuck that dude. We ain't accepting that dude's date.
I'm just gonna call him Weasley Dan because he looks like a Weasley Dan.
Yeah, but they come together and they start like falling in love, but it's still all about saving Arnie.
Because at this point they realize something's up with the car.
Oh yeah, they're both like there's something going on with Christine. Like it's taken over Arnie.
Because Lee saw how destroyed it was, and then all of a sudden it's back.
I think I think that was her. I think that's what led her to understand like what the fuck was going on. Because I think even though Dennis had talked to the guy that sold him the car and was like, and then the car came back.
Yeah.
He's like, what do you mean it came back? And
like,
then he's
it came back.
So
bitch.
I think like he was still kind of skeptical. Like there's just something off about it, but I don't know what it is. But then at that point when they're like, well, here's what I know. Well, here's what I know. Like,
well, and then
fuck.
after they have that conversation, Arnie comes and picks Dennis up, and that's when he's
like,
doing that
My
driving.
girl.
Yeah, that's when the car drives by itself, and he takes him out there. So he's like, "See, I don't even have to do anything." And so that's when Dennis is like, "Well, shit. All right,
it's been fun, Arnie. I'm gonna."
Lee was right. This fucking car's possessed. Yes. I don't know."
So do Dennis and Lee end up together?
I would think so.
I would think so. Yeah.
It's that thing where
they bond over trauma.
Yeah, you've both been through a traumatic experience, and that's what brings you together.
It's the end of Speed.
Yeah.
So
they trap Christine. Well, they set up a trap for Christine, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was I thought it was hilarious when Dennis just scratches the shit out of Christine, and these are like, meet me at Darnell's or whatever.
Oh yeah, Darnell's tonight. Yeah.
I'm like, ooh. I'm surprised she didn't do anything. Maybe she was like, all right.
Well, I think Christine was like, okay, this is where we can end this thing, because it was all about getting Arnie away from other people. So
yeah, that's funny. So Alexandra Paul is what I said, but I didn't sound very well. So Alexandra Paul, who played Lee, actually has a twin sister. I didn't fucking know this until I was reading the
IMDb
trivia stuff. And so in the scene where like she's up in one of the like the bulldozer or whatever, like I didn't know which scene, but at the end apparently she played a joke on Carpenter, and the sister got in the
showed up for
outfit or whatever, right?
Showed up for wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
And then she just went into the scene and they filmed it. And then at the end, she walks up and is like, "Where do you want me?" And he's like, "What the fuck?" Or whatever. Apparently, in one of those scenes, they kept it in there where it's the twin
and not her.
If you look close enough, apparently, but I didn't notice. So, yeah. But interesting too.
That is interesting. But the Dennis takes her out with what is that thing? A backhoe?
I just thought it was.
I think it's a bulldozer.
A bulldozer?
Yeah, it's just a bulldozer.
Yeah, it's a bulldozer because like apparently you see it in the background on one of the other shots in the daytime because it's outside.
Yeah.
And I think one of the first shots when they first get to the garage or something, you see that, and that's so they use it. Obviously, it's a bulldozer or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I love how they try to set up this thing and they're like, okay, we have to get you, into Lee. You need to go into the office and stay there. And then she's walking across, and like the car's been there the whole time.
He's like, he's just there.
I know. It's like, what made you guys think that, like, that's not where they were going to be already? Like, shouldn't it have been like Darnell's, like, right now? Like, because it's like, I know you're not there right now.
Like,
if I give you, like, I will be there at 8 o'clock.
Right?
Like,
Why wait till
be there.
Just get there.
They're going to be there before 8 o'clock, you dumbass. Like, they know the upper hand. Like they know the layout. They know where you're going to be. Like, dumbass.
Mm-hmm. And they did really want to save Arnie. I don't know if they thought that they knew Christine would show up because Dennis says, what if Arnie doesn't show up? And
like, oh no, he'll show up.
Lee says Christine will.
Yeah.
And so they don't really know if Arnie is in there until the very end. And when he does the pop at the end, he pops out of
out of the windshield.
Yeah. And he kind of like hugs Lee and then dies. Yeah.
Yeah,
kind of. Because when he rolls over, he has a big shard of glass in his chest.
Yeah, he takes it out.
Apparently.
Gross.
Lee, just touch it.
And then Lee tells Dennis, Arnie's dead.
Mm-hmm. And then Christine tries to regenerate a few times.
It was more like, Arnie's dead?
Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Are you asking me? You're telling me right now, Lee. God, I can't stand you.
And then they crush the little car into a square.
Yes. And I love the fake out scene of where they start playing the music again. They're like,
oh yeah,
shit. The guy walking through the. I always think of like that's
rock and roll.
I'm like, that's the old guy that ran the garage and Stand By Me. That's the guy walking by. I'm like, it's not him, obviously, but I'm like, I would just equate that for some reason.
Sick
I
balls.
connect that all together because I'm like, Stephen King, it's the same guy. He connected.
It might be the same character.
Who knows?
He does that shit.
I bet if you ask him, you're like, yeah, fuck it, yeah, it is.
Sure.
And I love how they convinced the cop that it was the car that did everything all along.
Well, I think he kind of got it after, he was like, there has been nothing. He was like, there was no, the car had been completely destroyed. There's no evidence of that.
Yeah.
He knew that it was involved in an explosion and a crash. There's no evidence of that on the body. I think he gets it. At a
someone
certain point.
saw your car, chasing so and so, chasing Buddy's Camaro the other night or whatever. It's like that's when he was like, well, I was, getting the parts.
Yeah. So I think the cop was,
but still that's kind of like a really easy, like, all right, it's all wrapped up. Thanks, guys. Like, worst detective ever, man. I would want some more proof of my own to be like,
exactly. He's got to do some freaking police work. How do you explain this to your superiors? Oh, a car murdered everybody.
What did they do with Arnie? Like, that's my other fucking thing. I'm like, they was like, shit, just leave him in there. I'll crush him. It was the whole fuck. It's goddamn Pulp Fiction. They just took it to that garage. I'm like, just crush it, done.
Yeah, Arnie's parents just thought he ran away.
Yes.
Oh shit! I shot Franklin. Or what was his name?
Oops.
God damn it!
Oh, but that was Christine, John Carpenter's Christine, and that is it for this week. Next week we are coming back with Body Bags, John Carpenter's horror anthology, Body Bags.
Super excited for Body Bags.
Yes.
Such a great anthology. It's
so fun. So many cameos.
A lot of great cameos in that movie.
Yep. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can email us at podcast@scarynerd.com. You can check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/scarynerd. And anything else, guys?
No.
I think we're good, I guess.
I think that's it. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.